All right, welcome to another episode of Trust Sports. Always in the middle with me, my guy. I don't know, to the left, to my side, it's to the right of me. But to the right of me, my guy Liam Stokes. What's going on, my guy?
Leak, what's up? What's up, man?
What's going on? But before we get into the sports, it's actually outside of that. Before we start, I want to get out there. We're going to do an announcement. Me and Liam have a lot of stuff cooking up in the works to get this together because it kind of just happened naturally and organic to where we are with Trust Sports. But when we're talking about In Those We Trust podcast, what this is going to be, what it's going to look like, we have to think of this as a network. In Those We Trust is a network. That's why you see the YouTube as In Those We Trust network. And then we're still going to have In Those We Trust podcast, in which I'll be bringing on guests to interview them, get some information out of them, get some game back, and the reason why I started this podcast. But at the same token, to have content and to keep talking about sports with my guy Liam, we are going to have Trust Sports as its own entity, still coming under the Trust Network on the YouTube as well. So everyone's been asking me, are you just turning to sports? What is this going to look like? It's going to be the same thing. We're just going to have weekly content of sports as well as the guests that come on with my guy Liam. But I wanted to touch on one thing that's besides the point of sports, and I'm always nervous in involving these type of topics into this entity. But as someone who works in higher education and who is very vigilant when they're out and about walking, whether it be the movie theaters, wherever I'm at, it's become a norm now, if you don't think like that in America, that you are just, I don't know, you are just not moving with awareness because of the country we live in. And I have these debates all the time when it comes to gun laws. What's the way to solve this? I don't know. That's why I'm not in those leadership positions. But there's another active shooter that happened at a school in Tennessee, a Catholic school in Tennessee, where, what was it, 3 or 4 9-year-olds?
I think, let me see.
I want to look it up, get the information correct.
So there was the victims, 3 9-year-olds, and then I think 3 faculty.
Yes. And I am so, everyone has gotten on news, and it was, I forget the last active shooter that we had, was where we had coaches in the sports realm. You had Steve Kerr crying because people don't know about the story of Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr's, did you ever see that story?
Yeah, I think after that, I saw some stuff come out of it.
Oh, really?
Before then,
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, people don't know, but Steve Kerr's father died, was killed because of a revolt where he was out of the country teaching at a university or a college, and there was a revolt there, and they got into the school and they killed him. He was shot and killed at a school. So this is something near and dear to his heart, and we see the pain that these parents have to go through with sending your kids to school, and it makes so many parents we're left with this lifestyle of we have no other option because parents have to go to work and they're leaving their kids there to be schooled and in the care of the school, and they're not protected. And what country do we live in where we don't even protect our own kids to go away to school, man? And it's how do you solve this? I've had many debates, and it's just heartbreaking that I feel like when I was a student in Palmyra, I never thought about this happening. There was always those jokes. So it's that one kid who wore a trench coat, oh, you gotta be careful for him. But we never were in today's times. If I were a student now and I saw a kid like that, he has to be reported, being watched over in some manner. But it's heartbreaking.
It is, man. And I think, obviously, thoughts and prayers out to, everybody involved. But I even saw somebody say, at this point, thoughts and prayers, it doesn't even, at this point, doesn't matter. This has just become an unfortunate norm for us. I mean, you turn on the news, it seems like every other month, every other week, and there's a new incident. And it's right. You're right. It's heartbreaking. I mean, there's children involved. There's educators involved. There's the police force. I think two cops died trying to go in and save it. And
oh, really? I didn't hear that.
I think so. Yeah. And it's just it's so unfortunate that this is just becoming a norm. And every time, like you said, people bring it up. The sports world, we've seen people bring it up, and it gets put to the forefront for what'll this be until Thursday?
Yeah.
And then we'll wait until the next one happens. So I don't know. I like you just said, perfectly said, we're not in those leadership positions for this reason, because I don't know what the answer is at this point. But I think the most frustrating part is it seems like no real traction has been gained on any possible solution at all.
Yeah.
And again, it just seems like these things are happening constantly to where we are all heartbroken as a nation once again. and we will be that for a little bit until the next one happens, and then the next one happens. So I hope that our leaders will actually do that and lead.
I have the debate all the time of like gun control. I don't believe in gun control. I believe everyone should have the right to bear arms, right? I believe that, I want to have a gun for my own household.
Agreed.
But I think that there's a level, and I had this debate with my friend at the gym where he said it doesn't matter, like, AK-47s like that. I'm like, why does someone own that? Like, why can't it just be handheld? They're like, you get the same thing with a handheld. I'm like, you don't. Like, in my eyes, I don't know. I don't know everything about guns. I'm not experienced enough in that fashion. But it's like, I don't think that. I think there has to be a better system to be had. Like, there's not like when you had the guy in Vegas, like outside the hotel room, he had like an army's worth of guns. It's like, and I think he bought them. So it's like, maybe these are the things that like it should be red flags that come up in the systems when you see someone have like multiple of these guns. Why do you have all these guns? An investigation, like someone should be looking into these things. Like, I don't care what we have to do or bring it down, but if we're in the hundreds of cases a year of active school shootings, like that is just unparalleled, like ridiculous. And we talk about American pride. We talk about America being one of the greatest countries. But when I look around, this is some third world shit that you see going on. And it's like, it's unbelievable, but something got to change. Something has to change.
It does. And again, I don't, another unfortunate part about it all is, but I mean, what else can we do? Like I said, it's up to our leaders to actually step up and, change something. I mean, begging for it. Everyone's begging for change, and nothing's changing.
If I was a parent right now, I'd be so disappointed with our system because it's like, as a parent, you're just so scared right now, and it's like now it happened to me. Now it happened to me. Now you're getting to the point where you're seeing cases of students who were involved in multiple school shootings.
I know.
Like, that is bonkers to me, bro. Like, that's bonkers.
I think. Did you see the one thing? We might have even talked about it here with the Michigan State shooting that happened earlier this year, and there was a student at Michigan State that was at the Sandy Hook shooting all those years ago. Like, that's just like,
it's crazy.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Hey, but all we could do is hope to fight. If there's anything we could do, let us know, and we'll try to push the efforts as much as we can. Turning the tides on some brighter news. New segment called Trust of the Week. This is a segment in which we have come up with to talk about something in our lives, sports, whatever it may be that you have come to believe in, to like, no matter what, I can trust in this doing something for me. Liam, do you want to go first?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. I know we'll touch on Major League Baseball a little bit later, but I'm going to trust in Major League Baseball because by the time this podcast even comes out, opening day will have come and gone. And Malik, I think we touched on a few weeks ago when March Madness was ramping up. I told you that this was really my favorite time of year. Between March Madness and the insanity that's going on there, opening day, spring is blooming, the nice weather's coming for us here on the East Coast.
This is true.
It's opening day is like a holiday. Like, it really is a holiday. We should all get off work for it. Obviously, my Phillies, the defending National League champs, can't wait for them to get back out there. They open at Texas. Your bum-ass Yankees play the Giants at home. Again, I think all the games are on Thursday, but I'm going to trust in Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball does a lot of things wrong. And again, we'll touch on another funny thing that happened with my Phillies the other day. But the one thing that they get right is opening day and the spectacle that they make of it. It's an all-day affair. Again, it just breeds new hope, new life into all of these teams. So I'm going to trust in baseball for this week. Opening day, opening week, and I can't wait to get it rolling, man. What do you think about your Yankees this year?
Hey, man, I'm excited. I think this is going to be the first year where I can actually dive into, like, I was there all off season. I was seeing the moves being made in the off season. I was watching spring training. Like, I haven't really been that involved because of college and I care more about football. But this year being like, all right, we have this podcast. Let me take my time to be more invested in the Yanks. Of course, I was always that person who was like catching games here and there, checking the scores out. Like, I always had the schedule up. So if the schedule was out, I would always see like, okay, when do they play Philly or when they're home so I can get some tickets. But I'm excited. I'm excited for opening day. I feel like there's no better feeling than opening day, and everyone feels like they have the best opening day. But there's something about opening day in New York, Philly, like these big markets. Like, true. It's something about those big markets. I say we're gonna rate our trust on a scale 1 to 10. I give that, and since we're sticking with sport, for yours is sports, I'll give that out all the opening days. It's top 2 in my eyes, but still, I would give that a 7.5 because I'm not the biggest baseball guy.
That's fair. Like
I
I
love
said,
the start of
it's
the
a
football
holiday
season.
around these parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, exciting nonetheless. Again, this is it. We're getting near the end of basketball season. College obviously wrapping up, so this is fun. And again, in a sport where we've had this discussion before, maybe most people lose interest come June. It's always exciting when the season first starts.
Hey, but you know what? There's nothing you love more than when you see the Phillies pinstripe with the white Vans in the jean shorts and on the females. Like there's something about like you're like, oh, it's in the air, and they go get a hoagie. Like it's something like. And when I think about baseball, I just think about Phillies, Yanks in the Frank, or I think about the Phillies and Wawa. Like and the River Line. Like that's what I think about when it comes to baseball season.
Look, man, I know the Yankees have struggled with some rotational injuries, but listen, they got a chance to make the series. Obviously, the Phillies do. Hopefully for the podcast, it's Phillies-Yankees. Hopefully for America, it's Phillies-Yankees.
Yeah.
That's a big crowd. But I can't wait to get this thing rolling.
Okay? So let's say you have another year like the year you had, but you go down and play in the World Series like you did. Is this like? Are you going to kill yourself this time going around? Like if you end up having this go around again.
So this is like and again, easy for me to say. There's no chance that they make it back and lose. I just don't see a way. Now, again, with that being said, the way that this torture chamber of being in second place has continued to go for me, that's exactly what's going to happen. But this one would be a lot different because last year the expectation was let's just make the playoffs. They had the second longest playoff drought in Major League Baseball. That was like let's just get over that hump. Went on this magical run. Put up a fight against the best team in baseball over the last couple of years, really, and ended up losing. So, it's devastating, it's depressing, but if you have another great year, maybe you win the division, go through the playoffs again, like now those expectations are that much higher, you're going to go in this World Series, and instead of being that feisty underdog, you're going to be like, okay, you're back-to-back National League champs, you better win this one.
Now, percentage-wise, how many percentage players are back on this team again?
A lot.
Really?
And to be honest, I think that, you look at like core players. Bryce
Your boy
Harper,
was hitting dingers in the U.S. thing, so he's fucking ready to go.
And that's what I mean. Like your biggest acquisition was the best shortstop in the league, the best player for the U.S. national team. I mean, the reason that they were there was Trey Turner. But I mean, all these important guys, like your top 2 in your rotation, are back. The first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, just tore his ACL, so he'll be done.
Shit.
That's tough. But, I mean, Bryce Harper will be back from injury in around May or June. You still have the best catcher in baseball. Kyle Schwarber's the best power hitter, one of the best power hitters in baseball. And, again, you added an elite shortstop. Bullpen's better. I do believe the team got better, but the division's just nasty, too. So, we're going to have to see.
Dude, I'm going to go off on Riverside.
Why? Oh. Why? What happened?
It just froze for me. You kept going though. That's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
You're good. All right. I appreciate that. Hey, we definitely have to catch a game.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna go with mine. Trust of the week.
Yep.
And I got before I go in, I have to preface this that legit last night me and Kat have a bet on weight loss until the end of June on who hits this, and it's $300 on the line. So I'm off this between the two of us, and we made sure it's even of not who loses the most weight, but in comparison to body structures. My trust of the week goes back to my fat boy days of the chocolate and peanut butter mix. In my eyes, there's nothing that tops that mix. That's one of my favorite mixes. I'm a big Reese's guy. Yep. But when I was thinking about this, I was like, what is my go-to snack if I have to hit the Wawa real quick, or if I'm in the supermarket that I'm even though I'm on my diet structure that I have to get if it's on sale. And for me, it's a tasty cake, chocolate and peanut butter shit.
Yeah.
So I put half in the freezer, leave half of them out. So you go back and forth. But the chocolate right now, when it comes to the holiday spirit, when it comes down to Easter and the peanut butter and chocolate egg that's at Wawa at the front is tempting to you to grab. Got to grab one on your way out. Like that in my eyes is your go-to my trust. I trust and believe, and no matter what, that chocolate, if it's chocolate and peanut butter combination of any candy I've never heard of, it's going to slap. So that's my trust of the week.
Have you ever had the Reese's like Take 5 bars?
Nah, I don't think so. I gotta check them out.
Chocolate, peanut butter, caramel, and a pretzel. It's fucking banging.
Okay, I gotta give that a try. Awesome. What do you rank that trust?
Chocolate peanut butter combo it's unmatched, bro. Yeah. I gotta rate that like an 8.5.
Okay.
Now the only reason I'm not giving you more is because you're talking to me about a weight loss challenge here. Now you're going in, you're making yourself hungry, you're making yourself want to stop at Wawa and pick up a couple tasty cakes. So you gotta stay strong. You know what I just got before we dive into anything more? You ever heard of the brand Yasso?
Oh, dude! If I show you my fridge right now, that's the only cheat I can do is the Yasso bars, the mint chocolate chip.
Yogurt bars, and
100 calories. That's all they are. So I take 2 of them down a night. I'm good. It's only 200 calories. Nah, I eat one a night, but 100 calories is nothing, bro.
Yeah,
and they're good.
No. It's all Greek yogurt.
Yeah, and I know I don't like Greek yogurt. I do not like Greek yogurt in itself. So that one doesn't even give me Greek yogurt vibes. Like, it's fucking good for 100 calories. So my whole freezer, that's all it is Yasso bars, because Costco just had them on sale. So if you want to pick some up, they're at Costco right now on sale for a big ass box of 15. Yes, sir. All right, want to move on to college ball, man? What a weekend! What an awful weekend in my eyes. It was all my futures are gone, so I lost all my money. Any hope that I had is definitely gone. But for the first time ever, the number 1 seed is eliminated, in going into a Final Four. That's for sure. Crazy to see. I've never seen it. This is the weirdest mix-up of teams that I have ever seen. Of Miami versus UConn and Florida. Is that Florida?
Florida Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic versus San Diego State. I know you were watching it all weekend. I was coming in and out of the games. I was at the gym. I want to see. I think the game that we want to talk about is Crane versus San Diego, but I want to see what were your thoughts this weekend?
No, it's dude, it's interesting. I mean, you said all your futures are gone. I think everybody's are. I mean, I don't know who in their damn right mind had FAU in the Final Four, but I damn sure didn't. I think, me, you, and Vaughn were texting about it all weekend, even a little bit before. UConn just looks like the powerhouse team that probably should roll over the next 2 games and end up winning the Natty. But it's weird. It's really weird. And I know that one conversation that we wanted to have was, is this really good for college basketball? Because I think in the grand scheme, you want to say, like, yeah, it's exciting. There's new teams. But, what makes this tournament so exciting is, like, that first round, right? Everyone fills their brackets out, and we have our bets. But then you have an FDU versus Purdue. And no matter who you have, you're kind of like, fuck, I need to root for the underdog. You have Princeton and Arizona where you're like, fuck, like, I have Arizona in my Final Four. But fuck it, like, I would rather see Princeton pull off this big upset. Yeah, that only goes so far. I think you looked at last year's Final Four. That was like the dream. It was Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, and Villanova. Like 4 blue blood programs.
Yeah.
What would you rather watch? Duke and North Carolina in a Final Four, or FAU and San Diego State? I mean, really.
Now so this is the thing though. You're going off of branding. So branding, I truly think that we get the same games, if anything more exciting games to come out of this. Because when you look at the excitement of these games, forget a branding, forget the top class, like the highest of the no matter what, I think this is the best competition to go into. Because if you saw, I don't know the brackets, but let's say you just saw Florida Atlantic versus number 1 if Duke was number 1, and they somehow schemed their way through, but they got to that point, you would see a blowout game. I feel like in these 4 games, you could see it go any way. Like, it can go any way possible. You're still going to get the possibly. I feel like I'm putting my, I'm putting on a line, but like I feel like you're going to get that possible last shot 3 to win a game. Like, I still think it's gonna add up to its thing. But now, are we excited to see this as if we were excited to see Duke versus UNC or something like that? Like, that's where it comes into play as our questioning. Like, in my eyes, I think it's still gonna give us the same thing we were looking for, some hype to go about it. But it's such a fucking weird matchup to see.
It is, and I think 3. So San Diego State, FAU, and Miami. This is all their first ever Final Four appearance, I believe. And then UConn, that's like that's like a historic basketball program. I think they have the most national championships in the last 15 years, 20 years. So you have that there. But I mean, yeah, I think the anticipation more so is just here are these new teams. I guess, you got to give them all the credit in the world. I mean, FAU has won, 35 games this year, like the most in the country. So at this point, throw out the seedings, kind of just look at the schools in general. But it's really weird. And again, are we getting to a point where these lower seeded schools or these smaller schools, are they getting better?
Yeah.
Are the bigger schools getting worse? A little bit of both. I know you and I talked about it. This is why the NIL, this is why the transfer portal is a good thing for college basketball, among other reasons, and for all of college sports, is because you see these dudes being able to transfer to these schools, whether it's going from a smaller program to a bigger one and making an impact, whether it's going from a bigger program to a smaller program and really like coming into your own. The point guard, Marquise Noel for Kansas State, he was a transfer from a tiny school that nobody really heard of. Now he's a household name.
Yeah.
So it's.
I think it plays more in the part when I was thinking about this, the transfer portal or NIL, right? When I was thinking about this, I think it comes in the fact that it now evened it out. Instead of you're always going to have your big power schools, right? You're still going to have the guys that want to go play for Kentucky or these certain coaches. But I truly think it evens it out, and the players are like, I don't have to go here because they're going to be in the national championship. I can go anywhere as long as I know that recruitment class is going to be big. I can go bring up the program as well, and if it sucks, see ya, I'm out. Like I can transfer pretty quickly. I can trust and just let me go make a name, get tape at. Let's just say Florida Atlantic. Let me go put some tape in. If we go, we go. But if we don't, I can easily dip out and let me go. All right, this year, you know what? Kentucky's the powerhouse. Let me go play for Kentucky real quick and go get myself into the draft. Like, it gives you that accessibility, but I think it evens shit out that players now are not afraid to go to these schools now. They know that I can maneuver a lot easier than what I used to be stuck into with pretty much like a deal. Like, I'm stuck in this deal. I really can't get out of it. I'm in a contract with these guys. If the process is too strenuous, like, I just think it even it out, and I can bring more in. I think it's what this Final Four is showing, like, players to be like, oh shit, it just put more schools on the map. This is what it does. It brings your recruits in, coaching in as well. The conversation that needs to be had is this the worst? Not worst. Yeah, I would say worst. Is this the worst team blowing it that we've ever seen in Alabama? Alabama team be number one going into it, having a shitty-ass March Madness time, just squeaking by, and it's all to play for the year that they've had, and I think it starts at the helm of the coach. This coach being one of the worst coaches. I mean, I went back and watched that game, and one thing they missed out on is that coach is on vacation right now with 2 timeouts left. Tell me anyone you know that's going and again, like, I don't watch basketball that often, but I know if it's 11, like they went on an 11-score run, you call timeout, you fucking end it. Like, I don't call timeout with my number one defense. Like, like certain things that I'm picking up on. Again, I don't listen to sports, I don't watch basketball like that, but it's these little things that I've watched over time to be like, how do you not run your timeouts? You leave with 2 timeouts sitting there. Like, bad coaching all the way around, awful coach in my eyes. That player that is involved in that whatever, awful. He played like shit. And again, I told Liam, when it comes to these big time things, people forget the little things and I'm a believer in the little things fucking matter. Well, this was a big thing for Alabama that happened to them. And they let the shit try and escape under the rug, and what happened? It got pulled from under you, and now you're sitting on the beach right now. Those little fucking things matter, man, and controlling your plays, controlling the system, it goes a long way. And this is, again, I'm sure you see this from Florida Atlantic, San Diego State. That coach probably harps on the little fucking things matter to get you to the Final Four, and it worked. It shows.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite stories, I believe it was, I forget who the player was, but played under John Wooden at UCLA. And when he got there, normally as a freshman, you have 0% chance of playing. Like, back in those times, junior, seniors getting the run. When you come in, you're kind of used as a practice squad player. You're going to build yourself up, then you'll be on the starting rotation. So it was a big-time recruit. He was a freshman. He was coming out. And John Wooden saw him one day on how he tied his shoes. And apparently he was doing it wrong. And you really don't think that I can tie my shoes right or wrong a certain way. But John Wooden would make his guys all pull their socks up one by one in the same way, tie their shoes the same way so that they're nice and tight. But it's like you go in and say, it's these little things, these small details that actually matter. You can't just go out and act like you're going to perform every single game. It's these small things that matter. And like you said, in Alabama's case, it was a big thing. That probably, who's to say, was eating this kid up all this time.
Yeah,
the coach is getting all this heat, and now half of his mind isn't on the basketball court. He's saying all this dumb shit. He's got Nick Saban making fun of him at a press conference. Yeah. So you're right. I mean,
apparently they're really close. Apparently him and Nick Saban are really close. And I did see a clip of Barstool. I forget the guy's name. He's a huge Alabama fan, and he was like, Saban. It was just a mistake by Saban, and they were like, no, Saban doesn't have coincidences. Saban doesn't make these mistakes. He knew exactly what the fuck he was saying, especially if they're close. Apparently, he was at the practice. Nick Saban went to their practice, or he went to their practice, something like that, and they were talking. And the coach actually spent some time on summer training with Nick Saban to understand, coaching at this level and stuff like that. So he fucking knows, like, when you fuck up, you fucked up. But yeah, it's a shot. I love, and if I ever become a coach, I think I would be obsessive with those little things. I'm very superstitious. I'm very like, fuck, what could we have done differently that we didn't win? What did that team do different? Did they run one extra sprint? Did they do one extra hour of something? Did we not go hard enough this one day? Did that make the difference in the summer? Like, I'm that guy, like, fuck, we should have did this differently. So I'm definitely the little things matter. Like, I think that's the Belfort in me. With football, like, we couldn't look a certain way. Like, we all had to look the same. We all got the same socks. Unless you were a senior, you earned it. You could have, a fucking Nike sock over a sock. Like, that was the most you could do. So I don't know. But one thing you put on my record into my eyes was the Crane versus San Diego State ending. I want to hear what you have to say. They're comparing this to the hold of
It was exactly that. It was literally exactly that.
Do you think it was a foul?
So again, it's funny that it's the argument, because as I'm watching it live, the announcers, they're split, and do you call it? Yes, it's a foul, but do you call it? At the post game, they're literally like split down the middle. It's like, if a foul, you call a foul. Then the other ones, it's like, well, you played that entire game and not one hip check was called that entire game. But now with 1 second left, with the game on the line, so it was funny that it's literally the same Eagles-Chiefs argument, because it was the same fucking play. And no, I'm sticking to my guns. Like, in terms of basketball, yes, it was a foul. But
oh my God, here comes the Eagle bias shit.
It is not Eagle bias. It's just this is my stance on it with the Eagles, and now with this game. If you called it before, if you know that this is what you're expecting, it's the same exact thing. And we talked about it. And my man Jay Wright, former Villanova coach, he said the same thing. Look, if you call that 2-3 times in the course of the game, totally fair. You're calling your game. You're calling a fair game. This is what your expectation was as a referee, to let these guys know. And I mean, I don't know. It's
okay.
Fucking tough.
Here's the thing. Was it coming from an inbound?
It was an inbound play. The dude was about to drive.
Inbound play. Okay, so that's different in my eyes. So inbound play to the basket, I feel like you're calling that no matter the time of the game. Bringing it down the court, and I don't fucking know. I don't know. I see it as a foul because of placement of the hand on the hip, and in the air, especially in my eyes, that's a foul. I don't take in the, like, again, I don't go for the bullshit like at the time of the game you don't call that. I don't subscribe to that news, because in my eyes, if it wasn't called, again, it was missed then. Like, and that, in my eyes, that's what it is. It's do you get angry at the makeup call also? Like, do you get angry at that? Like, that's where I lie at it. Like, call it. It's a foul in my eyes.
Call it if you called it with 10 minutes left in the first half. If you called it with 2 minutes left in the first half. If you called it with 7:30 left in the second half, then yes, call it again with 1 or 2 seconds left. But if this is, again, as these guys on the court, what you might be able to get away with and what you can't get away with. If they're letting the guys play the last 2 minutes of the game where things are getting a little bit chippier and chippier, they're letting these guys just go, and then you call that little foul, which it wasn't like the dude was decked. I mean, let's be real. He was tapped on the hip. It probably didn't even alter the shot. The kid airballed it, missed it by a foot somehow anyway, and then almost missed the 2 free throws.
No, he didn't airball it.
That shot, it didn't come close.
No, it hit off the rim.
No, I don't think it did.
Oh, I have to go back and watch. I felt like it hit the front of the rim and bounced back. I had to go back and see, but I know I feel like it hit the front of the rim. Either way, the change, especially when it comes to the air, like in the air type of play. Again, Eagles one is a lot more egregious. I can give you that one, but this one he was in the air and getting pushed. It's a lot different. Now, if let's say in the Eagles one you have what's his name? If it was at physical contact as he goes up, you would stick by he's called that call because no matter what, it's in the time of trying to make the catch. Again, the egregious came from it was not even possible to make the catch. Again, it was possible for him to make that bucket now. Now he's altered in the air. He physically cannot make the bucket because he's altered. So that's where I come from. It's a foul. It's a foul.
And and that's what, again, it was just, I think I was texting, I was like, dude, like, everything we talked about with the Eagles, like, oh, do you call, like, does it matter that it's at the end of the game? Whatever. Yeah. They were having the exact argument. Every sportsman, they come full circle, but you feel bad for that Creighton team, I guess. But, again, at the end of the day, just like we talked about with the Eagles, no sport at all comes down to just one play.
Yeah.
You had your other chances to win it. So
I don't know. Is college basketball that one where it does because it's so evenly matched two like one like it's. I feel like that like especially when it comes to college basketball, you can't pull that it was a call away or something like that. I don't know. Like if they went on a run and they came back, that's different. But was it a close game the whole game?
Well, I mean, again, like just looking at the stats, like it was back and forth. But Creighton shot 2 of 17. That's 11% from deep. So, are we going to blame the one call, or are we going to call, look at the 15 3-pointers that we just bricked during the course of that? What had a bigger impact there? So, again, it's tough either way, but listen, that's how it goes.
I feel like it's going to be, even though San Diego State is ranked higher, I think it's going to be Florida Atlantic versus UConn, and UConn to win it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. San Diego State, it's going to be interesting because San Diego State's such a tough defensive team.
Yeah.
And FAU can score with the best of them, as we've seen in the tournament. But yeah, it feels like FAU has more firepower to kind of win the game if it is going to be close at the end.
Yeah.
And then in terms of UConn and Miami, hats off to Miami. What an incredible comeback that was. Talk about another blowing it. Texas blew it.
Texas gets the bad rap and everything, bro. They get the horns down all the fucking time, bro. They never can get a win.
They deserve to get the horns down. I think they were up by like 10 with 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
And they fucking lost. But UConn is just like playing on another world right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right. I want to move on to Lamar and Laramie Tunsil. So, yeah, I want to relate this back to one another. Do you remember Laramie Tunsil from the draft?
Of course.
Right. So he was a player that, if you don't know, he was a player that at the time of the draft, it came out like a picture of him or a video of him taking like a bong rip out of the mask.
Like a gas mask.
Out of the gas mask. Which this is why I love, what's the old punter for the Colts? Dave McAfee. McAfee called up all the execs. It was like, yo, we need to take this guy. And you're like, what? Are you crazy? Like, I just want to let you know how hard it is to take that and not even cough. So his lungs and his in-shape abilities is crazy. Yeah. Fucking draft this guy.
Yeah.
And he's fucking right. And he's 100% right. So this is where we relate them, right? Laramie Tunsil now is a left tackle. Goes out with no representation on his own strength with the Texans. Yeah. And goes out and manages to become the highest paid tackle ever with the $75 million contract, $50 million guaranteed for 3 years.
It's his second time in his career getting a contract that makes him the highest paid tackle.
And guess what? He's only fucking, He's 28. So in 3 years, he's going to get another one.
Yep.
So one of the smartest players. Yep. Get paid again, right? One of the smartest players. You might say, like, the reason the left tackle is paid so much is because they're the best protection for your quarterback, right? And on the other side, we have Lamar Jackson, who can't get a contract done, and the news just hit that he's demanding a trade and wants to be traded. I do not think that – I was talking to some people. I actually it was a Ravens fan, and when the news hit that night, I went to the gym. A guy had a Ravens hat on, and I was like, you guys are fucking dumb. This goes out to Javon and everything. I'm like, you guys are dumb, man. Pay this fucking guy. And this guy looked at me and said, I'm kind of happy. I don't want Lamar. And I was like, do you watch football, or like you just like are a fan? You're from Baltimore. Like, where are you from? He's like, no, I watch. Like I don't care. Like, look what he's done. He's always hurt. And I was like, how long has he been there? I don't know the statistics, but I was like, he's like, I think he's been there 5 years. I was like, cool. How many times you guys went to the playoffs? He's like 3. I was like, so you guys went to the playoffs 3 times off the strength of just him alone, and he has had one weapon in his tight end Andrews.
That is true.
That is it. And you're telling me that you don't care for him because he's hurt? Maybe put the fucking people around him. He won't be hurt. Maybe if it's not all on him every single time, he won't be hurt. He's in the debate. If you put him on the Eagles, it's the same type of thing. Him and Jalen Hurts. Or in my eyes, like I put them like they're a fucking quarterback. Do I think Jalen Hurts can throw a little better than him? Yes. But I think when I look at arm ability, and I don't see why he's any different than him with his abilities. And you can't pay this man. This to me is the biggest. If he gets traded, Baltimore, get ready for a fucking years, a decade of just fuckery because you just lost a once in a lifetime quarterback in this guy. And it makes you question what is behind the scenes going on. I know his mom is his agent. What is going on behind the scenes that led to this decision to make? Because we're not seeing it. We're not hearing him talk a lot at all.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, first and foremost, that dude, he's definitely coping. He knows that it's over. And if he knew Lamar was coming back, he would not be saying, oh, yeah, I'm fine without him. I think he's won like 75% of his games ever. You don't just say like, yeah, I'm fine without a dude like that. But it's funny, Lamar knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. He sent out that tweet saying he requested a trade the day that all the GMs were together. Like all these NFL meetings for the draft and shit right now are going on. The first day he sends out a tweet that said, yeah, earlier in the month I requested a trade. Now everyone and their mother knows. And I think there was a picture of John Harbaugh's table and the amount of media that was surrounding, you couldn't even see him in the fold of it. Like he knows exactly what he's doing, and it's the weirdest part to me.
Is he putting the pressure on them? You're saying even more?
Oh yeah, putting the pressure on. Also saying like, yo, if a deal's gonna get done, fucking another team, come and get me. Like walk across the room and go talk to the other GM. We've had this conversation before of, when you are your own agent and you're going about it in this way, and even if you had some representation, that is a war room in negotiations, especially for a contract of this magnitude. I think we said it 2-3 weeks. Like, what if the Ravens say some shit to him that he's like, fuck you, I'm done. Like, this can't be repaired. You showed your true colors. Like, I'm out. But the most interesting thing to me right now is why isn't half the league calling the Ravens?
Yeah.
I mean, you have an MVP, what is he, 26, 27?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if you know you're not going to get him. If you don't have a solution at quarterback, fucking call and see what the cost is to get him.
Yeah.
Like so there's something weird going on. Maybe his injuries are worse than we think.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not fully healthy. Maybe he is asking for an astronomical number that teams are just like, dude, we can't give you that. I don't know, but it's really, the whole situation is really weird and unfortunate.
Because when I looked at it, I was just like, it makes no sense because there's teams out there like the Colts, the Falcons who are out there like that and need these players. And people were talking about he is a hard quarterback to get into a new system because you have to change your whole system. Change your whole fucking system. Like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. It's not like you're just drafting a fucking left-handed quarterback like a fucking, like some schmo from college. Like, it's fucking Lamar Jackson. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this guy's been in stud since he was in fucking high school. Like, in Miami, like, like, what are we talking about here? Like, I would change everything. You know what?
Yeah.
Get rid of my whole fucking, the offensive line. Let's get offensive linemen that are fucking can protect even crazy, can pass protect like crazy. And I don't know what to tell you. Get an offensive coordinator. I'm sorry, you're my best friend. Fuck you. You're out of there. I need someone that can run the spread and run his type of offense to have success with him. We going to win a chip. What are we talking about here?
I mean, if you're Washington or Atlanta or Indy, what system are you worried about changing anyway?
Really,
you fucking have. If you're in need of a quarterback, like these teams should be, and again, like Atlanta's been the one name. Let's just say, for example, like the system that you had, the best system you've ever had, blew a 28-3 lead in the fucking Super Bowl. If you're worried about changing your system, you have bigger issues on hand.
And who's been in the system of both those places, the Falcons and Indy? Like, it's been your boy Ryan. It's fucking Ryan. You mean you don't want to get rid of the Ryan system? I mean, the Falcons went and got. Oh no, did they cut Mariota?
Well, he was a free agent and signed with the Birds.
Oh, that's what it was. But he was with the Falcons, so they tried it with him, and it didn't work out. So I don't know. It's funny to me that you have this guy. You have Laramie Tunsil, who was just able to, in one false swoop, twice become the highest paid lineman. Was canceled in draft media. That just goes to show you the bullshit with the draft doesn't fucking matter. If I was that coach, it's like, okay, we're gonna be the news for drafting this guy. He's a fucking stud. I don't care. Like, that's why I would be.
Let's be real. Like everything else that comes out about these players, like the fucking domestic violence charges that we see twice a year at the very least. Like smoking weed. Come on, bro. Like he's a college kid. The worst part about that picture is it looked a little scary because he's like 6'8", 400 pounds in a mask. Like other than that, man, if he's talented and likes to have a little fun in the off season, who gives a shit?
Like Pat McAfee said, I know I don't smoke, but Pat McAfee said, hey, if I were to take a ball kid that, I would be on the floor fucking about to throw up. The fact that he just grown man that shit and moved on tells you his lung space is crazy right now. And I was like, that's a great take, Pat McAfee. That's a great fucking take. All right, moving on to our last one, the Phillies catcher. Yeah. Now, we talked about baseball in the beginning a little bit. JT getting ejected for moving his glove away. As a pass catcher, do you know why I became a catcher as well?
No.
So rest in peace to Josh Rich. So Josh Rich was actually my catcher in Babe Ruth. And Josh Rich was in high school. And he would come to the games fucking hungover. And he didn't want to fucking catch in the games. I never caught. Like I didn't catch until my 8th grade year in fucking in middle school. I never played catcher. Like I always was just like I played shortstop, infield, and stuff like that. I had to step up and be catcher, and I hated it. In high school, I fucking hated catching. But our JV team had no catcher. We had what, one, and it was a senior who's fucking sucked dog dick. But that's and when I thought back to this story, I was like, there's only been one time when I ever showed up where I had a strike right down the middle, and I didn't move my glove. Like I just held that bitch there, and whispered in my ear like, "Yo, if you ever do that again, I will throw you out." And I was like, "Understood. Sorry about that. Moving on." This is not the case. This is as simple. And when you watch the video back in slow motion, you see JT.
It was a misunderstanding.
And this goes back to now the umps having a lot of control in the game now with this clock, with the management of the game, that they're in control of this game. That without even a warning, it's a simple conversation like, "Yo, what are you doing, bro? You showing me up?"
Yeah,
like I just get like that's it. And he went to automatically, "See ya, you're out of here." We're seeing these umps now having some fucking like, "You're standing me up," but they're the fucking players, and you see him just go back. I mean, in the big leagues, you do it so often that they don't even look back anymore. They're just like, "Give me the ball." So whereas I always stood up, give me the ball, throw it back to the ump.
Yeah.
But it's simple. He held the glove there. I think he was quick with it, but it's again repetition. They do it so often that they're so used to like the ump's fast with it, put in the glove. It fell. The pitch before that, he threw it back to the pitcher.
That's the thing. Yeah. So the ump threw it back to Craig Kimbrell, and then the next, like it happened like a second later almost, to where I guess JT like went back, held it for a second or two, didn't feel it in his glove, was probably like, all right, like he's gonna throw it back himself, like he literally just fucking did. My whole thing with this, and this goes for any sport, because we see it a lot in the NBA. Players can get fined and suspended for their actions on and off the court, more specifically talking about the refs or the umps or whatever. We need to start making these umps and these refs held accountable. If something like that happens, fine him, suspend him, do something. But like you just said, they're getting more and more control, and like such small fucking dick energy from that guy to be like, "Oh, he just showed me up in a spring training game. Like, I'll show him." Like, honestly, dude, thank you for doing that. You probably got JT some more rest that he was fine getting. But they need to be held accountable now for these actions, because sometimes they are so fucking bad. And when you do something like that, you need to be reprimanded in any job. If any job you mess up that bad, you get reprimanded for it. And especially in these leagues, like we see players and coaches get fined and suspended left and right, and nothing.
I'd like talking on the pitch clock there. I forget the pitcher where he's at. He's like, it's like Schwarzberg or something like that. Schwerin, maybe, I don't know. He's a pitcher somewhere, and he pitches really fast. Like he pitches really, really fucking fast, and he's using this clock in his advantage. But it's only helping him out because he's one of those pitchers who always pitch fast. So it's funny to see like how some pitchers are going to have to change them. I really am interested in seeing how this season progresses, of how many pitchers either A, complain about it, like I'm shot, like our bullpen is done because they're doing so many more pitches in the game. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like I don't know. I want to see how that changes them as well. I didn't think about it like in that aspect of pitchers just fucking being dogged out there and like having to probably, and honestly, be in better shape. Like you don't get those breathers. You're just firing, and your arm is going to deplete.
Yeah, wait till it's the middle of summer.
Yeah,
it's 90 degrees and sunny on a Sunday. Like the other thing too, like someone brought up, and even like watching the World Baseball Classic, the theatrics of baseball. Like, look in these big time moments. Look at Bryce Harper's home run to send the Phillies to the World Series. Like, that was well over 20 seconds, but it's the pitcher getting ready, him getting the signs, Bryce doing his little thing, looking at the bat. The crowd gets into it more and more. Like we saw in the World Baseball Classic, Trout against Ohtani. Everyone settled down. Like, this is what we came for. Like, it just builds the anticipation. Somebody brought up a good point. Like, in the playoffs, that pitch clock should probably be turned off. Like, you need to get rid of it in the more important games that the postseason is, where, again, nobody's really complaining about the time anyway. Like, I think it's time that we should turn it off for the postseason.
Wow, you're definitely going to it's going to fucking happen at some point. If they keep this forever, it's going to happen to where a World Series is won, man on third.
That's exactly. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being eliminated on like a strike 3 call because you weren't looking at the pitcher with 8 seconds left?
Holy shit, I didn't think about that. Oh my God. I would fucking, that's when you just throw a fucking kick to the ump in his fucking chest. Like, that's when you get one of those. That's hilarious.
That's when you see Philly burn down if it happens.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm with it. Yeah, that's hilarious. Hey man, anything else you want to speak on, brother?
No. Again, opening day. Then we got Final Four this weekend.
Final Four is gonna be an exciting episode next week to speak about. Hey man, continue to support the and Those We Trust Network on YouTube. We are finally on Amazon Podcast as well. So we're on Amazon Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, everywhere you can get podcasts from. Follow us on the Instagram at We Trust _podcast. Follow Liam on the Instagram at
Liam Stokes 11.
Yes, sir. Trust.
All right.